But let me ask about sort of other approaches to layer two, like side chains. So the one popular one is Polygon. What are your thoughts about Polygon, which is a layer two network? Is it positive? Is it negative for Ethereum? Is it both? Does it have a future, which is its own chain, but it's using Ethereum? It's like based on Ethereum essentially. Or maybe you can describe what it is.
Yeah. So I think there's a really big and important difference in security models between rollups and sidechains, which is basically that rollups inherit from the security of Ethereum, right? Yes. So like if I have coins inside of Loopring or Optimism or Arbitrum or ZK Sync, then even if everyone else in the world who is participating in these ecosystems like hates me and wants to steal my money, I can still personally make sure that no matter what happens, I get my money out. It might be a bit expensive for me to get my money out, and I have to do transactions like on the main chain, but I'll be able to do it. Whereas in Polygon, which is a sidechain, and so instead of being secured by Ethereum, it's also in part secured by its own proof of stake consensus with its own token. So if 70% of the whole, or even 51% of the holders of Polygon tokens wanted to take my money in Polygon, they can, right? So that's and like, to be fair, like there aren't even like the supply, I don't think is even that widely distributed, right? So like potentially you could this idea of 51% of the token holders coming together and stealing everything, like it's not impossible, right?
Where does the scaling of Polygon come from? Like, why is it able to process much more transactions than the Ethereum main chain? What's the idea there?
I think in part, like I imagine, I'm not sure exactly what its capacity level is, but like I imagine it has a higher capacity because it's a bit more willing to take centralization trade-offs. And then another thing is that like if the Ethereum ecosystem, like even if it did not do that, right? If you think about an Ethereum ecosystem hypothetically scaling with sidechains, then you would have 100 copies of Polygon, and they would each have their own tokens, they would each have their own chains. And so even if each one of those chains was only as scalable as Ethereum, you could still, like the total sum of them would still be 100 times more than Ethereum.
Okay.
The thing that I want to say in Polygon's favor, just to be very fair to them, like I really, I definitely really, respect the work that they're doing. Yes. So start with a bit with that word of not criticism, caution, right? Like it's that they made this kind of deliberate trade-off for very pragmatic reasons, which is that the Ethereum ecosystem needs to scale now. And there are applications that want to do something now. And, if there aren't Ethereum-friendly options for them, then like they're not going to just wait peacefully and do nothing for 12 months. They're going to go to, either Binance Smart Chain or one of some other system, or potentially something that just has totally no alignment with Ethereum values whatsoever. But whereas with Polygon, like the best thing that you can say in Polygon's favor and against Optimism is that Optimism is not live and Polygon is live, right? Like it just takes more work to create a system that has these extra roll-ups security features. And so Polygon just said, we're going to be the system that makes the pragmatic trade-off. We're going to go, functionality first, and then, we can talk about adding back the security later. So I've talked to them, and like in principle, I think they're very, open to the idea of like adding more security and like becoming a roll-up, or at least adding a Polygon chain that's a roll-up at some point in the future, which is definitely something I think they absolutely should follow through on. But like the fact that like they exist now, and so applications can kind of bootstrap now on a chain that even though its security isn't perfect, at least it exists and people can go use it. And then over time, the chain matures as the applications mature. Like it's, I think, a very reasonable strategy, and I'm definitely really happy that they're part of the ecosystem.